Hi, welcome to my channel. In this video I will show you how I build these wooden hanging chairs. To build these chairs I'm using pressure treated 4x2. Using my multi-blade ripsaw I cut the timber in 7mm thick strips. And for a single hanging chair I need 40 strips. Next step is to run all the strips through the thicknesser to ensure they're all the same size and ready for gluing. It is always a good idea to choose the best looking strips that will sit on the outside of the arches, and after a good dust off and a splash of water for added flexibility during the gluing, we are ready to apply the glue. In my experience, the best solution for this task is a regular 4-inch paint roller with a sponge sleeve. This particular roller sleeve I'm using is a veteran in my workshop, as it's been in use for over 4 months. All it takes is a plastic bag to put the roller in at the end of applying the glue, and it stays fresh for weeks. Really. At this point, I'm marking the middle of the stack. That will align with the middle of the jig I'm using for bending. Additionally, I'm using stainless steel metal strips to avoid getting marks on the timber from the clamps. Moving on to my trusted jig, I'm ready to put the clamps on. These clamps apply a pressure of over 5 tons for the entire length of the timber that is being laminated, which is a lot. And I can tell you that at this point there is not a single arch that comes out wrong. I mean, probably 1 out of 50. I can leave it at that. I've had these clamps modified to my specification because since I'm working alone, I have to be able to handle all this in a timely manner. As you can see, this is a very messy process with glue spread everywhere. And you got to that point where trying to contain the glue turns out to be a waste of time. So I just carry on doing what I'm doing, and I clean everything up when I have the time. One other thing, this PVA glue turns out to be extremely corrosive, and it basically eats mild steel and even galvanized steel. And this is why I'm using the brown tape wrapped around those guiding brackets to stop the rust getting onto the timber. And sometimes it goes so deep it could render your arch useless. At the time of the recording, the outside temperatures were around 0 degrees Celsius, and for that reason I had to let the glue cure for about 3 days. But that was okay, because I've used the time to finish this geodesic hanging chair. With the glue fully cured, it's time to remove the arches from the jigs. As you can see, there's hardly any spring back there, which means that all that clamping pressure paid off. I'm really happy with how they turned out. Next, we move on to the thicknesser, and we need to clean the sides and bring the arches down to the thickness of 35mm. At the end of this step, quite often defects in the timber are showing up. But thankfully these defects are limited to the thickness of each strip, and that makes them fairly easy to fix. I'll take this pocket of sap for example, and I'll show you exactly what I do. My solution for this fix is easy. I just mark 2 lines, one along the defect and one across in the middle, and I'm going to use these 2 lines as a guide for my biscuit jointer, which I'm going to plunge into the timber. This way I'm creating a slot which I will plug with a piece of timber cut from a spare strip. I can't use commercially available biscuits as by their nature are far too loose and they would leave gaps. A couple of drops of glue and a little bit of hammer juice would plug that hole close to perfection. And it's time to see the results. Have a look at that. If I didn't tell you, you wouldn't know it was there. Next step is to round over the edges with a 1/4 inch bit and then sand all the surfaces with 60, 80 and 120 grit. Now, what could happen here if you're not careful enough, you could split the wood, especially on the outside of the arch, basically making the arch useless. I'm sanding the arches on all sides with 60, 80 and 120 grit for a smooth finish. With sanding out of the way, it's time to mark and drill some holes on the front frame and then trim off the ends of the arches. Since the marks I transferred from the jig are perfectly aligned, the easiest way to do this is by using a plunge saw and a track. I've chosen to do some of the other ones in a more traditional way. Next step is to install the insert nuts into the ends of the arch that goes around the backrest, holding it together. After a quick check for the alignment, I need to add one more detail, which is a flat surface at the top and at the bottom of the front frame where the main bracket will have to sit flush with the timber. I mark and drill the rest of the holes on the front frame, and with that I'm ready to move to pre-assembly. After spending half the time on the floor looking for my hex key, I finally managed to attach the arch that holds the backrest together. Next, I'm fitting the backrest, which is formed from 3 arches, one perpendicular to the front frame and the other 2 sit at 45 degrees. Because this chair is designed to fold for easy assembly or disassembly, these 2 arches that sit at 45 degrees have their ends rounded so they can easily pivot. A quick check before taking it back apart to apply protective finish. For that, I'm using a clear solvent-based preservative that offers microporous protection against wood rot, fungi, decay and mold. With the preservative completely dry, I assembled the chair and attach the webbing that will hold the cushions. On this occasion, I managed to staple my fingers just once. With the webbing finally attached, the frame is complete and the chair is ready to receive a cushion and me for illustration purposes. A small number of well-placed velcros make attaching the cushion to the frame as easy as it gets. I hope you enjoyed my video, and if you live in UK, these chairs are commercially available. Link in the description below. And please don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one.